I think I'd have to send everybody over here.
I think they'll figure it out.
I don't think you understand how it works, Pam.
I don't.
Now I don't know how to tell him to come over here.
I can tell him.
Yeah, go into the chat, because I can't.
All right, I'll go into the chat. Take 2. There it is.
That's great, babe. They're not in here. There's Jim.
Wow.
So, we'll turn that off now because it's obviously delayed.
We're delayed in the brain. Our
Sorry,
brains are delayed.
Well, I don't know how many we're getting over here though.
Don't worry about it.
So I think Jim's a moderator. Yeah, he is. Was it?
That was fun.
Jared said I saw it. How'd that work? How do you get over here? They'll find you.
We didn't have that many people waiting anyway.
Well, not too many.
I don't think, but I feel like you need to push the thing down because you're. Yeah.
I got the blue wrench. Yes, Jim, you're the moderator. I set you up as a moderator. Thank you.
All right. So sorry about the technical difficulties.
I don't know how many people are here. What, are we talking to like 2 people?
I just depend. Yeah, that's why I wasn't too worried because it seemed like we didn't have a whole lot of people.
Well, I don't want you to start
waiting.
Describing what's going on when there's still a bunch of people in the other one. That's all.
What was there a bunch of people in the other one?
Well, there was Sherry, there was my mom, there was Dave, there was.
Do you want me to go in the other one? And I never saw another one.
I see 5. All right, take 2 seems to work.
Is everyone here?
Good evening. Well, maybe they'll filter in. Sorry about that. I literally don't know what happened to that other one.
Now he's in a bad mood.
Pam said message them.
Huh?
You should put a message on the other one.
Oh, okay.
That's it.
I'm gonna have to put on my granny glasses. But
Pam's not very technically savvy, so I don't know why this wouldn't set up right. I set up that live stream and I thought it just started the last time we did this, but so welcome to everybody. Feel free to say anything if you can't hear us well or whatever, but so hopefully everybody's got a cocktail. This is a little happy hour.
So
Pam's trying to put a message in the other.
Pardon me
stream.
But this is.
Can you go to the original one and say?
Well, I don't even see an original one. This is what I see.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you.
Oh, geez.
Oh boy, turn that off. I'm looking for there's a couple of people I know were there, like Sherry. So Sherry, if you make it over here, let me know. There she is. Oh, there's Sherry. Okay.
Okay.
So hopefully people are getting over here. Sorry about that. So we just wanted to, it's been a while. I forget how long it's been since we did the last live, but we put out some videos on what we're doing, but not a ton. So we just wanted to talk about things that we're doing and see if anybody had any questions for us. And this seems to be, well, this and Zoom is just now the way people communicate, I guess. So we figured we'd jump in on that.
I have a very big drink.
So yeah, Pam's is
thank you,
twice
Jared.
as big as mine.
Thank you to Jared for my coconut vodka. It's very good.
So we'll just jump right in, but jump into the comments if you want. And Jim, you can shout at me if I missed something. But we did get some comments or some questions from some people mostly through Facebook. And I think one is like a comment on the YouTube post. But some of it's a little bit of stuff that I've touched on before, and maybe the information is either the same or sometimes maybe our mind has changed on some of these things. So we'll go through them again. But we'll start with, I think Jared's on there. So
there's comments coming through, and then we have a list behind that of questions that we already have. And I can't see either one.
Yeah, Pam can't see anything. Jared just said, "Who's Jared, the guy in your most watched video?" So thanks, Jared. So we'll start with Jared's questions. I actually typed them up here behind me so I could see them. So Jared asked us a couple things, and Jared's been out here a few times, just FYI. So and we visited him in Tucson a good bit. So his first question was, what have you found most difficult in off-grid living in the last 2 years that you didn't anticipate before making the move? So
the winds, is that what?
Yeah, the first one is wind. So, just if you know me and Pam, or even if you don't, if you watch some of our videos, I'm pretty detailed, and not that I could think of everything, but we anticipated a lot of things coming out here. I think we were pretty realistic about stuff. We didn't think it was going to be easy, all that. But no matter how much you think you're ready, there's a couple things that do catch you off guard. But we were ready for a lot of things. We were prepared for a lot of things. But what we kind of noted that caught us off guard for one, and of course this is specific to us and our location, but it is very windy here. We just happen to have a pretty windy location. I think St. David in general is pretty windy, and our specific spot, it happens to be kind of up high above a lot of things, and it's pretty clear. So we get a lot of wind, and I mean a lot of wind. It just blows most of the time, and when other people are getting kind of sort of hard wind, we get really hard wind. So
also, did you say hi to David? And I think I saw,
if you saw some in there, so I
Jason. Hi, Jason.
I see David,
Julie, and David.
That's JC, Sherry, DC, and the AZ.
Hi, Sherry, and
I see my sister Sherry. I see my mom. I see my mom out there. Mudhead Homestead. Jared, we mentioned.
Jared, we mentioned.
So, back to the question.
If we didn't say hi yet, and if you're joining,
if Pam doesn't say hi, it's because she can't see it. So,
hi Jim, thank you for being the moderator, and getting us through that.
So a biggie for us was wind. That it's specific to our location, but we weren't prepared for it. It is crazy windy out here.
There's a lot of hot air.
Another on that list would be the kitchen, mostly for Pam. She just happens to do most of the cooking, all of the cooking. The kitchen and cooking. Again, it's not that we didn't know things would change. We did, but it's hard to predict how small this kitchen is and the difference in the oven. So Pam's had a really hard time getting used to that. So,
but after 2 years, I've adjusted to that.
And then the other I put down was, just in any life, really, there have been a lot of unexpected things. Again, we were prepared for a small space. We were prepared for, some energy constraints and stuff like that. But the unexpected stuff that can happen anywhere. So we've had car issues. We've had water issues. Our water pipe broke. That's some of our videos. We've had erosion issues that we've been fighting and will continue to fight forever.
The air conditioner went out.
The air conditioner going out. Those are things that we couldn't really have anticipated, other than knowing that, hey, just like in any life, things are going to go wrong. So
you better go to the next question.
I am going to go to the next
on that.
So I'll try and maybe I'll tell you what one of the questions is, and you can talk about it while I watch the chat for a little bit.
Okay.
So again, from Jared, he said, also, what is the most basic thing you miss about your old living style that you took for granted?
Showers, for sure.
Sure.
The shower. And then probably my oven. Again, it was the kitchen that.
Yep. Same thing.
A bigger kitchen that I could spread all kinds of junk around.
And I threw energy usage on that list because, like I said, even though I knew energy usage would be different, I knew that it wouldn't just be, not being connected to the grid. You can't just do whatever you want. I knew that, but even knowing it, it's still hard to predict how it's going to impact your life. So especially, as I've talked about many times, in a tin box. So you really do have to be aware of when you use things and what you use. And so that takes a lot of getting used to.
He won't allow me to use the microwave very often.
Right now she's been able to use it actually a good bit, but
in the morning a little bit.
In the winter when it's hot and we're using a lot of our energy for heat, and in the summer when it's I said in the winter when it's hot, when it's cold. In the summer when it's really hot and we're using a lot of our energy for air, it doesn't leave a lot of energy left for other things like the microwave. So
does it look like my hands are like elephant hands? I mean,
Pam's
giant hands.
Whoa.
I feel like I look like I'm gigantor.
Jim says at least the refrigerator is spacious. I think Jason said, is your awning out? So that's,
not yet.
It would be great to put an awning out, but
it would get blown away.
Again, our location, we do in the summer, we manage to get it out in the morning. when the sun is on that side of the trailer. So we do get it out for a part of the day in the morning, if we're lucky, till about lunch. But then the winds pick up, so we actually don't get to use our awning all that much.
Is Matt Crandall? I see Matt Crandall's name on the computer, but I can't see the question.
He's got some questions there.
I don't know if he's on there, but
so the next question was actually kind of asked by several people, or the questions they ask kind of feed into the same thing, and it's about our plans for a house. So
we're slow.
Matt Crandall asked, do you have a timetable for building a place? And Jared said, what are kind of the pluses and minuses that are pushing your decision on a type?
Julie Andrews also, was it Julie Andrews?
Julie Andrews is an actress, isn't she?
Julie Andrews. No, Victoria? No.
It was Valerie Andrews. She kind of mentioned that a lot of our friends are either have plans or are in the works of building.
Believe me, I'm jealous.
And Matt asked about what type, if we've settled on a type of home. So those are all kind of the same question, or at least related. So we'll just talk about that for a little bit. Number one, the simplest answer to that question, the short answer is, why if the question is why aren't we doing something yet? The short answer is because I'm slow. I overthink things a ton. So I'm worried about things going wrong. So that's really the bottom line there. We are 2 years in. We're not quite 2 years into our permits because we didn't get our permits right away, but we're about a year and a half into our permits. So we have about a year and a half left on our permits. So our current plan as far as timetable is basically this time next year. So our window for building the house is going to be, are you seeing some?
I can see Sound of Music. Okay. Sherry says Sound of Music.
Pam actually looked at some of the comments. So, so our window is, kind of as soon as winter starts to fall off, what winter we have here in Arizona, whenever the winter rains and or snow, if there's any stops, when it's not too cold, the second we can get out basically in the weather, and that could be February, March, we'll want to get out there and get working on it. And the window goes till about the end of June, which is when in July the monsoons will start. So we don't want monsoon rains. I mean, it's not that you can't do it. You'd have to cover up a lot.
We are about to do something though. But
that's true, but not the house.
But it is something.
So so the timetable is about this time next year. We plan to be working on the house. The house will be straw bale. So that's another thing Matt asked, had you settled on a style? Definitely. And Jared asked kind of the pluses and minuses. I think we've talked before. We love all the kind of earth builds. There's rammed earth, earth bag, earth ship,
I really
straw
like
bale,
earth
cob,
and earth bag.
So we like a lot of those. But the things that drove us kind of to our decision, and it's not that any of those are bad or better or worse than any of the others, but we tried to look at just a compromise between cost and how much labor they're going to take, for the most part.
Dave said, do you always ramble on? Yes, I keep waiting. I'm waiting for him to stop talking so I can say something, but
go ahead.
I know now I can't remember what it was. Anyway.
Yes, I ramble.
Yeah.
But so I'm trying to answer the question. So
I think you answered it. What was the question? I already forgot what the question was.
So why did we pick straw bale?
Oh, well, because that was the one we liked the best.
Oh, wow. Thanks for the in-depth explanation.
I'm sorry.
I'll go back to my rambling, which is so we like all those builds. We definitely want to do an earthen style it seems
like the most cost effective for what we want to do.
Well, there are cheaper methods. So it's a balance between cost and labor. You can do some things cheaper, but it might take a lot more work. Not that straw bale's easy. It is a lot of work too, but we've gotten sort of comfortable with it. We've done the most research on it. We like all the earthen builds for, keeping down the kind of the environmental impact, and they've all got really good insulation, properties and things like that. So that's attractive, of course.
I'm sorry.
Fantastic.
I'm sorry. I'm reading some of the comments, and I think Dave Chris.
When you say Dave, I think of my brother. So you're gonna have to be more specific.
AC in the DC said
JC in the DC. Yikes.
Is it Friday? I have barely had anything to drink. By
one
the way.
drink.
This is just
have a drink.
This is me naturally.
Welcome to my world.
Welcome to my world. He never stops talking. I mean, I know he's very smart though. He has a lot of informative things to say. I don't really.
And Pam is pretty.
Thank you. Ow! You crunched my finger. Okay.
Would you like to go back to the questions?
Let's go to the next question. I think you've answered that one.
Okay.
About straw.
So the type of home, how we decided on it. We've got a little bit of experience with it and a comfort level with it. By the way, if you didn't see our video on Earthship, we stayed in an Earthship in Taos, New Mexico. Man, it was nice. It was really nice. And we're hoping to get a lot of those same benefits and incorporate some of those same things. So
does this say, what does that say right there? Are you planning to post any videos on your own channel? The other channel I have, is that what it says? I can't see.
Well, actually, it says, hey to Yvonne, so I'm not sure if it was for us or Yvonne.
Oh, hi, Yvonne. Is Yvonne and Bill?
But if it was for you, then Bam does have her own channel.
Bam?
Bam.
You just call me Bam.
Anna says hi. Hi, Anna.
I have my own channel. Y'all should go check it out. It's simply me.
Or simply Pam.
Yes.
Would be a better way to find it.
It's the videos that didn't make it.
So yeah.
Oh, Mark.
Pam likes to put hers out a little quicker. They tend to be shorter and quicker, a little less editing. So she puts a lot of that stuff on her channel. So it's a good companion. So let's pick up another. So here's another question from Matt. What kind of camera do you use and what program do you use to edit? So and this is just because we haven't really gotten that serious about it yet. And I don't know if we need to get more serious.
This is my camera.
It's all the cameras, iPhones, and we do our editing since we're kind of Mac people. We do our editing in iMovie. So it's kind of given us all the ability we need so far. There's only been a couple times I wish I could do something maybe that I couldn't. So we've been happy with that.
I'm getting better at it, I think. So
then we got a bunch of questions. I'm not sure if Billy's on here, but our friend Bill
Roberts
sent several questions.
Billy Roberts?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Bill and Yvonne, and there's Billy and Jody.
He had one or two kind of related to the house thing as well that we might have already kind of touched, but
do we grill? He asked if we grilled out.
Okay, let's go with the grill. Do we grill?
I grill some vegetables every now and then, but I do cook in the solar oven.
Pam uses the solar oven quite a bit. It's been really helpful. So
Hannah gave it to me.
The kinds of things you cook, they tend to be sort of slow cooking, or you cook them for a longer period of time. And if you had to do those inside, especially in the summer, a lot of heat. So, I mean, bread, rice, potatoes.
Mainly rice and potatoes.
Tofu. So
Dave, I'm sure Dave is going, ew, tofu.
Oh, David. Thanks, Jim. Jim put a link to your channel.
Oh, thank you, Jim.
Good moderator. So, yeah, the Sun Oven has really been a big help. When is the new pizza oven? So I actually touched on that in this question. We touched on that. As you saw, Pam did make a first pizza oven. We knew some things would go wrong with it, and they did. So she will be starting another one. I don't know exactly when, but
I'm gonna do it soon. I just made some owls out of clay, and I put them out because there were these big holes by my garden out there. Every day I would go out, and there would be a new hole and a big dirt mound where these little gophers are coming up. So I made these owls out of clay, and they were gone the next day. Like, there were no more holes. So we'll see. I keep moving the owls around to different places in case the gophers get smart.
I see some inside jokes in the chat.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Scott asked if tofu was moist. Inside joke. Sorry. So that's the grilling thing. Yeah. In the summer, we do grill a lot more to keep the heat outside, but the solar oven has come in really handy. Billy asked about surprises related to budgeting. He said budgeting spending. So again, kind of like that first question
today.
Well,
the brakes went out on
so
the truck.
We anticipated many things, and we ballparked many of our costs, like the solar. The solar was a big cost, obviously, but we did a pretty good job, again, because I'll give kind of a shout out to Derek Handyman. We ballparked a lot of our figures kind of based on things they had done. So, and things have fallen in those ranges pretty closely. So we've actually been pretty good about predicting our money situation. probably like a lot of other people are seeing right now with social distancing, our kind of day-to-day expenses have dropped. We're going to the store less.
But we also have the condo. The condo cannot rent.
But yeah, one problem for us is, I think we've mentioned before, we have an investment, which is a rental condo down in Rocky Point. And of course, that is not good for us right now. So
the only way we could buy it is if we rented it out. And now the border's closed. We're not able to. So
that was unexpected, and that is unfortunate. That, I would say, for us, I don't know about other homesteaders and everything. I feel lucky that we're somewhat insulated from a lot of what's going on. But it definitely has hit us in our investment because it's a travel related investment.
Otherwise,
that has hurt a little bit.
We don't really notice any day-to-day. We stay home more. We're staying home.
Jason says, I want to rent it sometime. Anybody's welcome. Send us a message. Yeah. So we have a condo in Rocky Point. It's a 1-bedroom condo. So Billy asked about that. So that were some of the surprises. Of course, every surprise, like car problems and stuff like that you'd have in any life, they're not really unique to our homesteading experience. But Billy asked about our top 3 lessons learned. We've talked about some of these before, but they change sometimes. The biggest one for me is understanding that RVs are not really meant to be lived in full time.
Right.
You can kind of make do, but there really is no way around the fact that they're not houses.
Do you remember what I said this morning? I said that I keep hearing all these creaks and stuff. I said, when somebody does this, and they're going to drive down the road and it's just going to fall apart.
Pam thinking, so we're going to sell this when we're done, and Pam's very aware. But I actually think it's in great shape. It's
going to fall apart when they drive.
It's in great shape. So that's one. Understand, and as long as you know what you're getting into, that's okay. But you do have to understand that RVs, this is a tin box. It's not meant to be lived in full time, so you got to make do. There's going to be sacrifices there. I put down take/keep less than you think you need. So again, I thought we were pretty realistic when we left our house. We went through all our stuff and we said, we don't need this, we don't need that. We got rid of a lot of things, but we still kept way too much. As good as I thought we were about it, we kept way too much. So we had stuff in storage for about a year. Then we moved it here, and now a lot of it's made its way kind of into our shed and stuff. And essentially, when I go into that shed,
not that much, really.
It's not too bad. But half the stuff I look at out there, I just kind of look at and go, especially now that we've been without it for 2 years, I kind of look around and go, we didn't need this. So be realistic about what you need.
I see a lot of stuff I need out there.
Don't get me wrong. There is stuff I'm glad we kept, but we kept too much. The other one, I said, I wrote time marches on your face. That's a little inside joke. That
it is marching on my face.
Of a birthday card that we used to send around, time marches on your face.
Are there any questions can you tell me what's going on there in the comments?
Oh boy. So I have to read the questions, answer the questions, and watch the chat too.
Can you do everything?
So Jim said he needed his Bowflex. It's mostly just comments. I haven't seen a lot of
Bowflex. I use
Sunrise Sky says single plug-in burner. We actually
have one, and it uses too much.
In anticipation of this, we got an electric cooktop stove, a 2-burner. And again, not knowing what it was like taking energy for granted, we didn't realize how much energy that takes. Now, we do still plan to use that sometime in the future, but as I said, in the times of year, basically in the cold times and the hot times, you have to devote almost all of your energy in an RV. You have to devote almost all of your energy to heating and cooling, at least in my experience. So it leaves very little left. So you have to be real careful about stuff. So we did bring a burner, but we haven't had much chance to use it.
I'm not allowed to toast anything in a toaster either yet. But you're adding more panels soon, very soon.
Yeah, so
that's what he's been working.
We'll talk about this in an upcoming question, but maybe I'll just jump to it right now. Billy asked what are some of the projects we have coming up. I have 2 that I'm kind of trying to start up simultaneously here because they both involve some material from like Lowe's and that I'm going to get delivered.
This is why I haven't done the pizza oven, because we're about to start a big project.
When exactly are you going to build that house? So Scott is being a smart
9 months from now. 9 months from now.
That's pretty
approximately 9 months.
Around this time next year. But a couple of the projects that are in the planning phase right now are really close. I'm really close to ordering some material. The first is our solar mount, which I've been talking about for a long time. But again, back to me, I've changed my mind 10 times about how I'm going to do it and where I'm going to do it. But I'm really close. And what that's going to do for us for power, we're not going to change our battery situation. So we'll still have the same amount of energy from sundown to sun up. But the problem we have right now is even though, so we don't use all of our energy. We don't run our batteries down to zero overnight, or down to their minimum. But when in theory you could, right? You could run it down to the lowest amount you can. You'd say, well, just use as much as you can overnight that you need to. But the problem is if we run our battery down to the minimum point, we won't recover it the next day. So we basically will never reach full the next day, because the next day you're going to want to turn on the air again. And if your panels aren't full and you're not getting enough sun, you're not going to fill back up. So what the extra panels are going to do for us is they won't allow us to hold more energy. We still have the same number of batteries, but they will allow, when we deplete the batteries, they will allow the batteries to fill up faster. So that's one of the things we've got to work on, so that when the extreme heat comes, which it's on the way and it's coming early.
Yeah, it's supposed to be 98 on.
Again, we won't be able to hold more,
Thursday,
but we will be able to replenish it faster. So that's one of the projects we've got in the works. And the other one is an outdoor bathroom / shower. And the bathroom side of that is going to be made out of straw bale. So that's going to be our practice. And we've practiced with our friends, neighbors.
We did it.
We
did a SketchUp.
But yeah, we've drawn a couple of things in SketchUp. And when I do those videos, I'll probably start them off with the SketchUp drawing of them and everything. So but ordering is the big first step.
When are you going to order those materials?
That is going to be any day, really.
But what happened was the brakes went out in the truck. So he's been messing around with getting this rotor thing off.
Oh, yeah. So I've been sidetracked recently by, again, I mentioned car problems. So we've been having some problems with our truck brakes. I don't know if Craig is on there. I haven't seen
Craig
him.
For
I'm trying to get the brake situation worked on the truck. I'm trying to do it myself. And I'm not really a car guy, so I've done a few things, but I'm kind of muddling through it, and it's been difficult. So I've spent a few days trying to fix the brakes on the truck, and I'm still not done yet.
So that kind of stuff gets in the way.
Dave said, do they provide enough energy for a fan? We have a fan going right now, and we actually got this fan is free. We actually got a fan from a friend of ours, Jared, that we haven't tried out yet, but we got a fan that you can pour ice in the back of, and basically the air will run over some ice. So we're hoping that'll help too, because what we've learned, and maybe this is obvious to some out there that know energy, but one of the things I didn't know about energy, when you don't pay attention to it, when you have basically limitless amounts, motors don't really take a lot of energy. Running a fan is not an expensive thing. Computers and all that stuff, charging devices, those are not expensive electrical operations, but heating and cooling electrically are expensive operations. Anything that produces heat, a microwave, a toaster, all those things, they take a lot of energy. So fans are easy.
We got a washing machine. Finally.
We did finally get a washing machine. So that's project, if you want to call it, that's coming up. We just received our washing machine.
Yet.
It is a mini, compact, very simple washing machine. We got the idea from Bill and Yvonne. They have the same one. For a while, all it really requires is power. Other than that, I mean, you can plumb things in and out of it, but you can also kind of manually feed it and drain it. So for the time being, we're just going to manually feed it and drain it. You can basically just pour water into the wash bucket and let it do its thing. And then you pour water into the rinse bucket and let it do its thing. And you rinse that out into a bucket. So that's probably how we're going to handle it for now.
Mark Osborne has
I love my mini washer. Got the idea from Bill. So we've got the same one. So we literally just received it yesterday. I just opened the box today, so we haven't used it yet. But we did make a video recently about our clothesline, which was in preparation for that. So we're looking forward to being able to do a little bit of laundry here.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
So yeah, so those are some of the projects coming up. Oh, I mentioned the bathroom will be a practice straw bale structure. We're going to start with just the bathroom half, basically just a toilet room and outhouse. That'll be out of straw bale, and then we're going to build off of the side of that with kind of a spiral shower wall, in a sense that when you walk in, you're on the inside and you're in a shower now. So
I designed it.
But that'll kind of Pam designed it. So Pam tells me what she wants, and I have to make it happen. So she designed it. By designing it, she drew a picture that looked like a cartoon drawing, and I have to make it real. So that's my job.
You did a great job.
Oh, Jim says, when are you two going to fill some earth bags? Hey, we'll come out whenever you're ready.
I keep waiting for you. You guys are
the cistern that those guys are building is really impressive. Really impressive.
Very impressive.
Mom said, did it fit in your delivery box? So if you didn't see the delivery box video, that delivery box was way bigger than I intended. It just turned out that way. But our washing machine fit inside the delivery box. So it worked out kind of nice. It is a huge delivery box.
It's a mini washing machine.
And it's a small washing machine.
We wear the same clothes like every day anyway. So
yeah. So, okay, we'll jump back to some questions here unless you see some more on there.
More on.
So Billy also asked, what advice would you give someone who wants to live off grid? So midlife crisis, you guys should try Room Sketcher. I haven't heard of that one. I might have to look into that. So advice we would give people, I've talked, our other screen went to sleep. So I've talked a little bit about this one before, but it changes sometime. But the biggest one is, and this really hasn't changed since we started, and we kind of were prepared for it going in. But again, some people don't think about it enough. And some people, even though you think about it enough, you still don't. But it's, don't go into this life expecting it to be free. You know, I think that's the perception that sometimes people get when they watch the kind of the after the fact maybe of somebody off grid who's done all the work and put all the initial investment in, and where you end up is hopefully a very cheap lifestyle, right? Without a lot of bills and things like that. But that doesn't happen for free. You know, there are big investments in solar. Solar is not free. You have to put a lot of money in up front. And that's true for a lot of the other things as well. We're hoping to build obviously a lot cheaper, but the point is, don't go into this with, you know, just a tiny little bit of money and think, well, you know, I'm off the hook from a job because I'm not going to be buying power from the power grid. It's not quite that simple. So you can definitely cut down on a lot of expenses for sure, but it's not free.
It's almost like I'm working a lot harder now than I ever did because I'm doing a lot of physical labor, like today, trimming trees, cutting branches on trees. Oh, that's the same thing as trimming trees.
So
moving bricks. I've just been moving bricks.
So it's a lot of physical work, which is not a surprise, but
it's also a sacrifice. Like we don't really spend any money on anything other than the big things that we.
So it might depend. You know, some people are more naturally suited to it. I would say we were pretty frugal people to begin with.
Yes.
But if you live in a life where you have a lot of things and stuff and you care about those things and stuff, this might be tough. So be realistic about that. A couple other things I kind of threw out on that list was, now this has been big for us. Everybody's different, but I like the idea of having a place to get away. So when you're stuck in this box, you know, we've been lucky that we get along really well for the most part, but we've been lucky that, you know, when it gets tough, when the weather really gets to you or whatever, or when something breaks and you just don't know how to fix it or whatever, it's really nice to have a fallback, a place to get away. You know, if you've got some friends where you can go stay the night or even just get away for the day and go see somebody, it's been huge for us. It has stopped us from going insane probably a few times as we were having a lot of the water problems we were having. I mean, when you're stuck here and you lose water or you lose power and you know, it's 100 degrees and you can't run your air conditioner or whatever, those are, you know, those will end the whole experience for you pretty quickly. So I think it's important to have, if possible, if at all possible, kind of a lifeline that you can use. That's been huge for us.
Well, it was...
and we thank all our friends there that are our lifelines out there. So
we were supposed to go to Mexico for anniversary, which is May 7th, 16-year anniversary.
The condo has been that lifeline for us too. At times we've gone down to our condo to get away and to live a glamorous life again. But
the border is not open, right? Or if you go over to Mexico, they'll take you into quarantine and put you in for 2 weeks.
What about phone a friend, Jim says? So yeah. So I know not everybody has that ability and not everybody necessarily needs that, but I can say for us, that's been huge. There have been a couple of times where I don't know what would have happened had we not had a place to escape to, you know, when we didn't have water or when we didn't have enough, when the
Right.
temperature
Yeah,
was
yeah.
unbearable. If we couldn't have gotten away to somewhere, I don't know what would have happened. We might have given up. So it's been huge.
Is there another question?
Well, there was,
Okay.
I think he asked about, what advice? Oh, that was it. That was the rest of our advice to everybody. So next few projects we had planned, grilling out. Somebody asked, this was Billy also. If you weren't living here, where would you live? So I wasn't sure. I don't know if Billy's on here, but I wasn't sure if he meant, would we pick another place to homestead, or if we weren't homesteading, where would we be?
Meant,
but
would we pick
if we had to pick another place?
Homestead place.
I assume that's what he meant.
I would probably go Bisbee.
And we both said Bisbee. Now, so not everybody here's from Arizona, obviously, but if you know Arizona at all, we lived in the Phoenix area for 20 years-ish, right? And sadly, I had never been to where we are now. I had never been to Cochise. I had never been to a couple of famous places. Tombstone. I had never been to Kartchner Caverns, which is pretty famous in Arizona. I had never been to Bisbee, which is, it's well known. So, so we've been exposed to some things, and now that we have, Bisbee is really a fantastic place. So that would probably be a choice if I had to pick. Bisbee's a great one.
Yeah,
also
really
in Cochise
cool
County. So, we picked Cochise County. We've talked about that several times about why we picked Cochise County. And I would pick it again in a heartbeat. And Bisbee is in Cochise County as well. So Bisbee's a really nice place. So
there was one other thing that something that surprised me about living here is that I didn't realize how much I would love it.
It's fantastic. Yeah.
Also, I think that because I don't know if you've noticed this, but do I have man hands? Gee willikers. Anyway, I really didn't have much of a purpose in life other than I felt like I felt like I didn't have much of a purpose. I had a lot of depression issues, which you don't like to advertise those, but I think it helped me a lot to come.
Pam was largely a stay-at-home mom for a long time, but then once the kids had grown up,
I worked at a gym too. I worked at a health club.
I know, but then you did stop, and you were largely a stay-at-home mom for a while. And I had a 9-to-5 job, which turns out to be as all of us know, a 10+ hour a day job or whatever, and add commute to all that and everything. Mm-hmm. So I was just kind of ticking through life, and the days just go by. And you come home and you have dinner and you fall asleep. But Pam spent a lot of time on her own. And that was one of the big reasons, actually, that we chose to do this, was because we weren't spending much time together. And the little time we were spending together wasn't exactly quality, right? I was just spent from the day. And everybody who has a job knows this.
And I was very needy.
But
was I
Pam,
needy?
Sure. And sure. Pam being home all day. And once the kids are gone, that's a tough life to sit at home all day and not really know what to do. And most of us find our friends through work a lot of times, and Pam didn't have that. So that was hard, I'm sure. So that is one of the big reasons actually that drove us this way. It wasn't just, me saying, I don't want to work anymore, although
now I have
that's a nice little bonus.
Now I have great friends. And this is something I haven't had in a long time, where I have I go for walks with Yvonne and hanging out with everybody that we hang out with.
Yeah. I guess there's another, and again, I've talked about this before, another surprise, let's say. I've talked about this before, but we were in our house. We were in our house for 17 years, give or take. And, anyone that knows us will know that we're not necessarily antisocial people. We're social people, but we don't go out of our way. We didn't really associate with the neighbors all that much. We saw each other walking in the mailbox, said hi. Probably most of our interactions were probably because of our dog. But other than that, we lived in a house 17 years and didn't really know our neighbors at all. So one thing that's been surprising and a good surprise, because we weren't really neighbor people, being in this community, it just lends itself to kind of being more neighborly. Everybody's lending a hand. You're lending a hand to other people. They're lending a hand to you. You're always looking to help people out and get together and kind of share in the experience. So that's been really nice. Mm. And yeah, although we knew we thought we would like kind of the solitude of this and everything, it's been even better than you can imagine, right? The quiet. So now when we do go back to town, which we do often, and I'm glad we can, it's immediately stressful, just the cars on the road, the people, not at the moment,
yeah.
I guess, but under normal circumstances.
I get scared on the freeway.
So
I get real scared.
Jim said we're more social since living in the middle of nowhere. I'll bet that's true.
It is weird how that happens. I think it.
So we are too, actually. And again, I think we had hoped this would be the case, but a lot of our friends at the time, in our house, we were, again, within our group of friends, we were very social. We'd like to get together, play cards, whatever, have a few drinks and have a good time, right? And when we came out here, we're 2.5 hours from Phoenix, from where we were. And we're about an hour or so from Tucson, which we had a few friends there too in Tucson. But the people that would come over to our house, say in Phoenix, they said, I can't believe you guys are doing this because you're going to be so far away and you won't be able to do you won't be able to be social anymore like this. And actually, it's been the opposite. Not only do we make the effort to go visit our friends and family still, we have people come see us way more than we thought we would. And that's been really nice. So
we did before the COVID happened.
Everything's a little weird right now.
I haven't seen my kids since Christmas.
And
I don't know.
That might be something that you'd say you either took for granted or has been hard.
Oh, yeah.
The kids. We haven't seen the kids in person since Christmas.
But
we did do some Skype and things, but that's been tough.
I probably actually had more quality time with them after we moved, because when we were there, they would just kind of drop by for a minute, and it's more quality time.
Yeah,
for sure.
Now that there has to be kind of a big trip made, I think you focus more on the visit. So the time has actually been better. So, but it's been hard since the virus. We haven't really gotten
every day,
gotten together. Yeah.
Anyway,
but that is tough. We're not so far that you have to jump on a plane or anything, but a 2.5 hour drive is a long way. And the kids are busy, they
both have essential jobs.
So yeah, luckily,
they're very essential.
Luckily for them, they're still working and bringing in income, so that's good. How you like that generator, your solar panels that Derek made for you? Yeah, the solar. So he asked, Jason Estala asked about our AC. So I'll talk about both the AC and the solar.
I love the AC.
Since the initial,
we had it on
we actually had it on today for the first time. We were pushing 90 today, I think, right here. So
we set it to 75. I was freezing.
So yeah, we kicked it on in the middle of the day today, and we actually got kind of chilly. So we just used it a little bit. Since the initial problems that I documented in several videos, some self-inflicted, some not. But since we got past that, the AC has been fantastic and the solar has been fantastic. The solar's never really been a problem. It all really boils down to, again, I've said it a million times, a tin box that we live in. So
inefficiency of the RV.
Yeah, what we've learned is that when we move into a home with walls, thick walls, and well insulated, well sealed, we're going to be really good. We're not going in with any plan for any heating or cooling in that house. So we can fall back to potentially a mini split now that we're familiar with them if it comes to that, but I'm hoping not to. So the solar and the AC have been fantastic. How did y'all do you get water? How do we get water? So we have a well share right now. We just lucked into the piece of property we bought. When we bought it, I didn't expect to get this, and I didn't put a whole lot of weight in it when we made that decision, but looking back, we got really lucky. Our property had a well share. We share with 2 other folks.
Only 2.
And it also had septic already. So those 2 things, the fact that we could drive here and basically hook up water to our RV and hook up our RV to a septic system.
We were very lucky.
That's huge, right? We didn't have to.
All cleared.
The only hurdle we really had to get ourselves, and Derek was a huge part of that, was our solar power. So we had to get some power. But other than that, we had things, and that was really great. Now, even though we have that well, we've documented a lot of the issues we've had with that well. It's a little far away from us because it's shared. And so the water has to travel a ways.
Very deep.
And we've had our issues. The pipes have broken. We've had leaks. We've had things happen. So we do still fully intend on the roofs that we're building. We're going to collect our own rainwater and try and survive pretty much off of our own rainwater. We'll probably keep on the well as a backup, but I don't want to count on it because it can break.
We do have 3 barrels that our neighbor gave us. I can't believe they just gave them to us, but they're a pretty big barrel. How many gallons do they hold?
I think they're 55. We have three 55-gallon barrels.
And so I'm able to water the garden and water the compost.
Jim said earth bag cistern. We haven't really decided what our tanks will be yet, but I'll tell you what.
I think that's really cool.
It's tempting. What you guys are doing is really impressive. Now it's gigantic, but it's impressive. It looks
like a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. See, that goes back to that question of, how you make a choice of something. It's what they're doing is a heck of a lot of work, but I'm sure they're saving a heck of a lot of money as well. So you got to kind of balance those things. But that is a really impressive cistern that you guys are making. So I haven't decided whether we'll just buy a big tank or multiple tanks or what, but we do want to collect our own water. We've got one big roof already in the shed. We're not funneling it into anything just yet, but
I want to swim. I would like to have it and swim in it because he said that they're going to be able to swim in it, which I like that. Can you swim in your drinking water?
Probably not the best idea. Pool / water fountain.
Was that the end of the question?
I think that covers most of what we had. I mean, we're pushing an hour, but throw anything out there if there's anything you want to know. I think we've covered kind of most of the stuff we got beforehand. Time is our greatest asset, followed by water.
Oh, our birthday. Oh, I know. Our birthdays are coming up.
Yeah. So I think I got sidetracked. With the I said time marches on your face. I was making a joke. So one of the things to keep in mind, I think it was, I don't know whether it was under advice we would give people, but one of the things, and again, I'm pretty realistic, but it's hard not to think when you quit your job to do this, which not everybody quits their job to do this, but some of us do. It's hard not to think, well, if I don't have a job to go to, right, I'm going to have so much time and I can do whatever I want. I'm going to play guitar every day and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And I guess it's just like you never making it, you always spend the money you make. Well, you always spend the time you have. So, I thought we would just have so much time, and it's shocking how fast it goes. So that's a piece of advice or something is, even if you are lucky enough to be able to quit your full-time job to do something like this, there still aren't enough hours in the day. It goes by so fast. So, that
reminds me, I forgot to play the guitar today.
JCDC says we're 100% rainwater waiting for monsoons.
Oh, it's probably gonna be pretty dry for until July. Yeah, we should be. So we had a pretty wet winter here by our standards. We've been here 2 years now. In this, we've been in Phoenix for many years, Arizona for many years, but we've been in this location for 2 years. And what we've seen so far, although that's a small sample so far, the first year we were here, we got some big, heavy rains, but not a lot of them. And they did have a lot of damage, which I've documented to some of our land, and that was rough. The second year, the difference was we didn't get the heavy rains that tore things up the same way, but we got a lot more rains, a lot more. They were more spread out and just more often, but each one was a little lighter. But what that's done is, why was I saying that? Did you talk about the erosion?
Well, I did a little bit. We're fighting erosion all the time, but what I was going to say was the difference is this year it has been, oh gosh, I don't remember. I lost my train of thought.
One thing that we probably won't be documenting a lot of our erosion control because I don't know if we're not allowed. Am I allowed to talk about it?
No.
Oh.
So
because we don't know what's legal and what's not.
I forget what I was talking about with the rain, but
water collection. Because it's going to rain. The monsoons are coming. They're not coming until July, and it'll be dry until.
Oh, I know what I was. So you said when it was going to. So this winter, we found ourselves saying a few times, and Pam said it several times. I thought, where's our dry spell, right? Because it seemed like every time we wanted to do something, it was raining. So Pam was saying, well, when's our dry spell? And I said, it's going to come, and we're in it right now. We've had a pretty good stretch here, and it's probably going to continue. Probably till the end of June where we'll be dry. So that's why we're targeting next year for our build is there's a pretty good window that's pretty reliable. Obviously every year can be a little different with rain, but pretty reliably kind of between March and June, you're going to have that window that's going to be pretty darn dry. So when it comes to straw bale, that's really important. So that's what we're kind of banking on.
I'm trying to read, but I'm not seeing. My eyeballs are burning. I got my eyeballs got sandblasted today.
We have planned to get us to monsoon season due to the rainy winter.
It was windy and
JC,
hot.
DC, and the AC has maybe collected a good bit already because we had a wet winter. So that's good.
Oh, yeah. I've collected a lot in my barrels. The one by the compost
the barrels have been nice.
Almost empty, but
I mean, they don't hold that much, but when you got the rains the way we did, pretty steady,
they filled up.
We would use that water for things like, I mean, we're not drinking it or anything, but we would use it to water our compost, which to keep our compost kind of working well. One of the problems we have is it gets real dry here. So that's nice. We've been watering a lot of plants and things. So that water has really come in handy. It's not a ton of water, but with the kind of winter we had, it really, you could take a little bit out and it would fill back up, and you could take a little bit out and you could fill back up. So those barrels have come in really handy, even though it's not a lot of water, but they've been really nice.
It's nice. I can't wait to have a bigger catchment.
But obviously, yeah, if you want it to support you year round, then you've got to catch a lot of it. So that'll be kind of, I assume that'll go kind of hand in hand with the house, I think, because that placement is going to be key. So I think we'll probably plan on doing that tank, whatever it is, around the same time as the house.
Does anybody else have any other questions? Because we'll probably
so throw it out there if you got another
in a minute here.
I'll just say thanks to everybody. Thanks to everybody for watching everything, of course.
Thank you. I know
thanks for being here tonight.
I know it's hard to listen to Brian sometimes.
Huh.
It's just because sometimes my mind starts to wander when he's rambling on.
I know the last time we were on here live, we mentioned and David and Julie took us up on it, or tried to.
Oh, we were
this
karaoke.
close. We were this close to doing a karaoke get together in Benson, and it was right as kind of the COVID stuff was happening. So we were really on the fence right at the end there, and we did decide to cancel it at the last minute. So that was kind of a bummer, but we definitely will do that again sometime when we get the chance to.
Now, I don't know if I will ever be able to look at, or I don't know if I can ever hold a microphone like you. I mean, everybody puts their mouth on the microphone.
So
I was already a germaphobe before all this.
Taylor, not our daughter.
Taylor Phillips.
Taylor Phillips just
said
favorite books. What's a book?
Oh.
I tend to only.
I used to read books all the time when I was 13. I used to read those those ones with Fabio on the front, or didn't Fabio?
The romance novels, or whatever.
My mom, my mom would read them, and then my sister, and but I have an Earth bag book and Earth ship books, and
Jim said you shouldn't lick the microphone.
I know it's hard.
For me, books are all about reference. My mom did get me for Christmas a couple of kind of woodworking books, which I did reference heavily for the shed. So that was nice. So I've got a couple kind of woodworking and shed building books, just framing books, stuff like that. We like, obviously, earth building books. We've got a great one on Earth bag that Jim brought us.
I'm enjoying the water.
We also for Christmas we got.
Thank you, Shirley.
His name is Brad Lancaster, I believe. He happens to be a Tucson guy, but he's got some of the best rainwater harvesting books out there, and we've got those. So we reference those a lot.
Jared. Jared said bye.
So yeah, the Brad Lancaster rainwater harvesting are really good ones. A lot of earth building books. We've got a couple of straw bale books, an earth bag book, the earth ship books. And even though we're not doing all of those techniques, you still can kind of borrow. So we still plan to borrow a lot of things from earth ships. And
I used to like to read scary books. And
who's Brad Lancaster? Oh, he's joking.
I used to read Nancy Drew mysteries back a long time ago. And do you remember Nancy Drew? Did you ever read Nancy Drew?
Yeah, I read Nancy. No, Hardy Boys. I'm a boy.
I read Hardy Boys too.
I'm not much of a reader myself, actually, but
I used to read all the time.
Like and I said, I read for reference.
Hey, let's tell them about when you used to cross stitch. I used to cross stitch all the time before I had LASIK, and then my eyeballs went to hell in a handbasket. But then the close-up distance stuff.
Squirrel.
Anyway, Brian, he took up cross stitching because he wanted to impress me.
This didn't happen.
And my was it Tim or Taylor?
This didn't happen, but
Tim,
if it did, it was the best cross stitch ever.
He did cross stitch really well. But Tim was like 5 years old, and he would say, "Don't stitch your crotch, Mr. Crotch Stitcher." Remember that?
You might have had to be
All
there.
right. Yeah, you had to be there.
But
anyway, we should probably close it out on that note.
Your face is a mystery. There it is. I knew there was going to be a reference to your face at some point. Yet another inside joke. Sorry, everybody.
And Brian sews too. He sews really well.
I think I do like to. So I sewed curtains for the shed,
and so
and I like to sew our cornhole bags because somebody's got to sew them. You can't buy them; they're garbage. So,
woo,
Dave made an awesome pillow. I remember Dave's pillow.
My pillow.
The My Pillow guy. He could have been the My Pillow guy.
I love My Pillow.
So I think
Those
we're gonna
are pillows.
I think we're gonna call it.
All right.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, y'all. We appreciate you guys.
Please keep watching. We really appreciate it.
We can't shake hands anymore, so
yeah.
we're gonna say
we don't mind the
namaste.
change to not shaking hands. We won't.
I never really
Cornhole.
liked shaking hands. This is really
So very soon for the locals. Hopefully soon for the locals.
jazz hands.
Get a little cornhole game going over here, and hopefully get back out to karaoke for the locals.
I still haven't given up on the couples Olympics.
Yes,
one day.
Little teaser. Obviously
One
now
day.
Can't happen, but a little teaser. Someday we want to put together a what
t-shirt
will be known as couples / off-grid Olympics. To where we'll put a bunch of events and we'll try and score the whole thing.
I gotta open up some windows.
All right.
In this tin box.
All
right. Cut her off.
Thanks everybody. I think we're gonna call it. Thank you, Jim, for the moderation, and Jessica.
Jim and Jessica.
Everybody stay safe and healthy out there.
Be careful.
Hope everybody's getting all the stuff they need. Stay safe. Hopefully we can see each other again soon.
Bye.
We're gonna sign off for now. Thanks everybody. Talk to you later.
What button do I mash?
What button do I mash? End stream.
What do you do? Oh. Ow, my pains.